everyone, Paul from HiTech Legion, and we'll be actually looking at ASUS GPU Tweak and doing a little tutorial on how to performance tune the NVIDIA GTX 670. Now I understand that this does say GTX 690. Of course, this is being recorded prior to the actual launch of the 670, so I am using beta drivers which are referring to as the 690. Now as you can see up in the screen, the GPU boost clock is 980. On the 670, the actual base clock is 915 and the boost clock is set to a default of 980. Of course, we have a memory clock of 6008, and right now, as you can see, our fan speed is 30%. On the left hand side of the screen, we do have a bunch of graphs. These graphs are monitoring graphs. They help you monitor your GPU temperature, usage, vid usage, GPU voltage, etc. So let's go ahead, look at the right hand side and take a look at a few different things. Of course, from the left, we have the ASUS name, GPU Tweak 3D, and of course the name of the card. When you purchase your 670, it will say 670. You'll be using certified Wickel drivers. We are now in standard mode. Standard mode gives you three options: a GPU boost clock offset, a memory clock offset, and a fan speed offset. Underneath that, we do have a live update tab, which you could go ahead and update your GPU Tweak if there's a new version out, or even if you're using an ASUS video card, you might be able to update the VBIOS. When we go down to the next tab, which is settings, we have 5 different tabs. Basically, your main tab is how do you want to start GPU Tweak? Do you want it to start when you log into Windows? Do you want it to minimize or not minimize? What skin behavior you're using? Enable the skin, disable skin, and do you want to have your tool tips? Under tuning, you could set your priorities: display priority, memory clock, fan, power target, GPU. By checking those, of course, is what's going to show on your front screen. If you want if you're performance tuning and you wish for that specific clock speed to initialize when you boot into Windows, you need to check keep setting for next start on close application. There is a live update tab there. Now we do have a recording tab. You can enable recording in this to actually record on-screen displays, etc. And it will give you a 720p film size at a rate of 60 frames a second. Of course, it's going to pick up your sound source, and you can also change what file format you want. The next tab would be our hotkeys. Basically, these are keys so you do not have to go ahead and do different things. So if you're looking to apply a profile, Control-Alt-1 would apply Profile 1. Control-Alt-2 be Profile 2. Now, the reason why these hotkeys are installed are because if you have GPU Tweak minimized and it is running, you could actually change your settings using those hotkeys. Next, we have GPU info, which brings up the ASUS GPU Z. GPU Z will give you all the information about your GPU, what it has, what the bandwidths are, what the memory types are, how many shaders you have, how many ROPs you have, etc., and of course the actual card itself. We'll go ahead and close that. Now when we go down to the bottom left, we have a benchmark, we have our advanced mode and our standard mode. And we also have the monitor, which is on the left hand side there. What that does is it actually brings up the monitor if the monitor's not up. I thought I could minimize it there for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring this back to tuning. We'll go ahead and change it to advanced mode, and we'll take a look at it. Under the GPU boost clock, basically what you're doing is you're setting your GPU boost clock on an offset to what megahertz you would choose. So by raising or lowering the slider, or even clicking in the window and typing in a number, you could change your offset. Minimum GPU voltage. I haven't really found the need to play with the GPU voltage on these Kepler series cards. It usually cycles the voltage very well. If you feel that you need to, of course, you have a slider there, and that works the same way. You could either slide it up or down, or click inside the window to check your change your numbers manually. Memory clock, same thing, and of course your fan speed. Right now I have it set to auto. You could set it to manual and change your fan speeds, or you could go to a user define, and that will bring up your fan controls. So basically what you could do is you could define different fan speeds for whichever temperature you're at. As you can see right now, it's on a default, so you can see how it rises up based on the temperatures of the GPU. We could go ahead and raise or lower that. Power target. Your power target is the offset to your power that you wish to use. So basically right now it's set at 100%. So I am actually going to run at the GPU at 100% power. We could set that the same way by sliding up or down our slider, or actually going into the box and changing it also. On the left hand side we have our monitor. Our monitor has different displays. We could monitor our GPU temperature. As you can see right now I'm running at 32 Celsius. Our GPU usage right now is 0. Vid usage 0. FB usage 5. GPU voltage millivolts 987. And as we scroll up we have more settings. You have a fan duty controller. You have a fan speed. GPU clock in megahertz, what you're running at the present time. Memory clock megahertz. Memory usage. Your power target status. And by keeping this up while you're tuning, you could check all the different displays to see if you are where you wish to be. So let's go ahead, and I will go ahead and show you exactly by clicking on Profile 1. I was able, with the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 670, to get an offset of 165, which is 1145 on my GPU boost clock. Again, I kept my voltages on auto. My memory clock I was able to raise to 6400 from 6008. My fan speeds I keep on auto, and my power target I found the sweet spot to be anywhere from 108 to 10% on this specific card. So let's go ahead and show you how this runs. Now, a couple of you guys were being wise because I was running in a smaller window, and you were saying, well, of course, if you run it at a lower resolution, those clock speeds are going to be stable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I run stuff at the lower resolutions is so you could actually see the window. When I test, I do test full screen. I do check my settings, and I do check to make sure that there is no artifact by using the different in stored benchmarks that are inside of most of these performance tuning tools. So right now let's go ahead, set it to graphics test 2. We will go ahead and loop it, and for those of you, let's go ahead and make it 19 by 10. Put it in Windows mode. windowed mode, and we will run 3D Mark 11. So it should initialize here in a second, and then but as you can see, if you're looking on the left hand side, you could actually see the voltages going up and down. And this is what we're concerned with. Right now I'm looping 3D Mark graphics test 2. So we'll look at our GPU clock speed, which is important to me. Where am I going to be when I'm performance tuning my card? What's going to be my maximum? What's going to be my minimum? Right now, as the card heats up, of course, we're going up and down with our clocks. Max clock was 1250. We're down to 1197 at this time. Our memory clock is at 1620. Processor clock 648. Memory usage is 421 megahertz, and our power target status is anywhere from 105 to 117%. Now these will go up and down based on the request of, or the demand, should I say, of the actual application that you are using. So if I were to go ahead and say pop up Unigine and run Unigine, I might require a little bit more boost out of the card to get it to run at the desired clock speed. So of course you're going to see your memory usage go up, your processor clock go up, your memory clock go up, etc. So while we're doing that, let's go ahead and actually shut down 3D Mark. Hit escape. We'll bring it down. And let's go ahead and run Unigine. Unigine is very demanding on a video card. If you don't know how to test using, say, like a FurMark or something like that, or use the benchmark test in GPU Tweak, and you really want to see if your performance tune is stable, try Unigine. Go ahead and crank up the tessellation to extreme. Anisotropy I usually put to 16. Anti-aliasing for this card we'll use 4. We'll uncheck the full screen. System, do 19 by 1080. And let's go ahead and run it. I'll go ahead and move this over. Maybe a little bit more so I could bring my GPU Tweak over. We'll shut off the sound. And now, as you can see, we were at 1250 because the demand required it. We're back up to 1250. Our memory clock is full, just about full at 6392. Our processor clock 2500. Memory usage is 789 megabytes, and our power target is steady at between 110 and 113. And we're actually going to 114. Now when you run the benchmark in this, of course, it's going to stress it a little bit more, so you will be able to get a very good idea on how stable your performance tune is. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. For the full review, visit www.HiTechLegion.com. This was a short tutorial on performance tuning the NVIDIA GTX 670 using ASUS GPU Tweak. Stay thirsty, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye.